Welcome to the Online Success Journey podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 273. Today we have David Emmons, owner of Artist Marketing Formula, a company that helps artists and other small specialty business owners utilize the power of the internet and social media marketing to sell online and set up a sustainable online future. Hello, David.
Hello, Patience. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Oh, thank you for coming. I know the client is anxious to hear your story. So let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my client a bit about your background, about what you did before you started your online business?
Absolutely. I've been an artist my whole life. So I've created things and then basically brought them to market. And what that looks like in the US and really all around the world, typically artists are traveling around at events. You know, that's what I did. I traveled to arts festivals around the US and exhibited my work there and sold to the public. So I would load up a van with my work and my display and my tents, and I would travel, oh my gosh, to about 35 shows a year. And that's about a 35-year career doing that. And so I'm a sculptor. I sculpt with copper, and I work with copper and stained glass. And I'm kind of in the gardening niche. I make what I call our hanging water gardens. And some of the shows that were our biggest shows were the flower shows. In fact, you have a flower show in the UK called the Chelsea Flower Show, one of the biggest flower shows in the world. And that was my business until about 6 years ago when I took it to the online space, basically wanting to migrate, not knowing that I was not going to want to travel and do shows the rest of my life. And the shows are just a crazy way to make a living. You never know what's going to happen. You could have a hurricane. You could have a rain event. You could have a coronavirus come along. You never know. You know, the whole world has changed now, and these events are really not taking place at the moment, happened for about a year. But about 6 years ago, I recognized it was time to move online. And I started that process of how does a specialty small business owner, how does an artist go to the internet, this massive internet, and figure out how to start succeeding in that space. You know, what I like about the tagline for your podcast, getting clarity, you know, that's really what has to happen when you go to the online space for any business owner, is you have to find a clear path for your success. Because the internet is just so big and there's just so many options. You know, where do you focus for online success? So that's what I started to wade through all the trial and error, trying to figure out exactly what it is I need to do to start succeeding online.
Wow. What a background and a journey, David, you had.
Oh my gosh.
I hope you enjoyed the ride along the way.
Oh, you know, it's a very interesting life out there on the road, you know, traveling to these events. So many of the events are just fantastic events. They draw thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. So the events themselves are exciting. But over time, you know, it becomes a grueling experience, you know, breaking down on the road, getting caught in thunderstorms. I spent, I think, at least 3 nights stuck on the highway in snowstorms overnight with a truckload of plants and merchandise. It's just absolutely crazy.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. What is the most dangerous belief an entrepreneur can have?
Well, it's really that they're overwhelmed. Most entrepreneurs get overwhelmed with how to accomplish success online. And I believe a lot of people out there have the belief that I don't have enough tech skills. I just can't I can't navigate this world, this online world. A lot of the people that are in my space, artists that have been doing what I've been doing for years, are, they're in their late 50s or 60s or 70s. Most of the students that I have enrolled in my coaching course are folks that are, over 65, and they're intimidated by the internet and intimidated by what they believe is the requirements to have online success. The exciting, and I was intimidated myself. In fact, that's why I dragged my feet for so long. The show business was good, and going online wasn't a necessity; it was a desire. And so once my desire got greater than my need, I pursued it. And to my surprise, I found that it's not overwhelming if you learn where to focus. That's why that word clarity is so important to me. Once you learn what works, it's very easy to start implementing some simple strategies that will absolutely guarantee success for any small business brand. I work with over 2,000 artists right now, artists and specialty small business owners. So I'm working with not only painters and photographers and sculptors and jewelers, but I'm working with real estate agents, restaurant owners, yoga instructors. I work with orphanages. A lot of nonprofits are working with me. What you need to figure out online is, how do you find your customers? I mean, it's really what marketing always boils down to. How do I find my customers? And for the longest time, the internet has just been a search engine place. I've got to figure out SEO for my website. I've got to learn how to rank #1 for Google. I got to try and outcompete some of the biggest brands in the world so that when people go searching for something, they find me. Well, you're never going to win as a small business owner or an artist if you're playing the search engine game. You're never going to rank on the first page of Google. You have to learn how to find your customers. And until about the last 5 years, it was pretty impossible to do that. What happened is social media changed the landscape for online marketing. And when you recognize that there's some powerful tools with the Facebook platform, Instagram platforms, those are the two platforms I use the most. You can find your customers. And that's a beautiful thing, because that's what I've been doing for 35 years. I've been traveling the country to find my customers. And when I get it right, when I end up at the right show with the right location, with the right kind of weather, I have a fantastic event. And so what did I really do? What I did was I searched the country for the best shows, and I tried to get the best location in the best show, and I would have a successful event. So what do you do online? You search the internet to get in front of the right people. And lo and behold, there are tools, there are artificial intelligence, there's algorithms, there's all these wonderful things that are smarter than we are that will allow us to get in front of the right people. And that, again, that's marketing 101, putting the right thing in front of the right people. And that's what I teach my students how to do. And once you nail that, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I mean, success is amazing when you put the right thing in front of the right people.
Wow. Thank you. I know you wanted to stop traveling all these shows and move to the online space. But why do you do what you do, David?
Why do I create what I create, or why do I market like I market?
Both.
Well, I create because I love bringing something wonderful into people's lives. I think that's why most artists create. It's kind of a combination. It's kind of like you can't not create. So it's kind of like being a writer or a musician. Creation, it just comes out of you. So I love to create. But then when I get feedback from my customers, the things that I'm doing are bringing joy to their lives. And that kind of feedback is a thing that really that feeds me and keeps me going, keeps me creating. Why do I market like I market? And the thing about what I've noticed all during my career on the road, traveling, doing shows, is that I really enjoyed the marketing aspect of an entrepreneurial kind of business. You're totally in charge of whether or not you succeed or fail. There's so many little things that you can adjust and you can do to maximize your success. And so I was always fascinated by those things. I would try and get the best booth location. I would try and make my booth beautiful. Every show I went to, I would try and figure out, how can I make it just a little bit better? How can I increase my conversion rate? I didn't even know it was called a conversion rate back then. Even though I was at a show, at an event, live in person, what I was trying to do is get visitors to convert into customers. And online, it's very commonly known that what you're looking to do is increase your conversion rate, whether it's a conversion rate on an ad or a conversion rate on a landing page or on your website. And so I was always fascinated by that. Online, it's amazing. It's so exciting what you can do online. What I love about, think about this, patients. When I would travel to shows, I would typically sell 1% to 2% of the crowd. Okay, so 1% to 2% of the crowd at any given event would be one of my customers. So what that means is 98% of the crowd they were not my customers. Now, when I market online, I actually try and market to the 2%. I'm probably marketing to the 5 or the 10%, the people that went by my booth and loved what I had. Maybe they bought, maybe they didn't. But I don't market to the 98. I don't have to market to the 98 or the 100%. I can narrow my marketing down in such a way that I'm always in front of my perfect customer. And that's what's amazing about these tools. These are free tools on the internet that you can use to get in front of very, very specific people. And that just so excites me.
Wow. As you are aware, what has happened in the pandemic and everything, how have you pivoted within your business?
Well, the exciting thing is I started this six years ago. So I was well on my way. This particular calendar year, 2020, I had scheduled one show. So I'd gone from 35 shows all the way down. I've been eliminating them for the last 6 years, and I was finally down to one show. I was actually at the Boston Flower Show when the pandemic hit and the show was shut down. So I ended up losing a bunch of money. But the beautiful thing is my internet sales have already more than replaced my show sales. That happened a few years ago. And so I only did a couple of events because I enjoyed the events and they were profitable. So the pivot really happened a number of years ago, and I knew I wanted to make this change. What I've noticed, however, is kind of in a unique place to see this. I've noticed that online sales have been increasing for small brands and small artists like myself who have had started early. Because what I've done is I've grown a fan base. I have 100,000 fans on my Facebook page. And those fans love the artist, okay? So when you grow a fan base properly, so that means you're targeting in such a way that you're bringing people into your world who are going to be customers. They don't just like what you do, but they're going to purchase what you do. Okay, this is the 2%, the 5%. These are the people that are your customers. When you market that way and you grow a fan base of true loyal fans who are going to buy what you create, well, now all of a sudden you have these people who have, it's an interesting thing. I call it the fan-artist relationship. If you think about a fan-artist relationship, whether it's a musician or a painter or an author, even a restaurant owner, if you happen to love an amazing restaurant, even if you think about the terminology of shopping local and buying local, all of those things to me encompass the fan-artist relationship. And that is the consumer wants to support you. And because they want to support you, there are interesting things that drive their decisions to make a purchase. Okay, so when the pandemic hit, what I saw a lot of my fans buying from me because they wanted to support small business. They knew we were struggling. And so my internet sales were doing nothing but climbing. I'm having the best Christmas season right now that I've ever had in my entire business. And 100% of it is online. And so this marketing that I've been doing for the last 6 years, I've learned so many things. And so much of it comes from my understanding of human psychology, the fan-artist relationship, my interactions with people over these last 35 years. Bringing that understanding to the online space is just amazing. So many people come to the online space, so many marketers, they come to this space with a marketing mindset. They're really thinking about analytics, and they're thinking about sales copy, and they're thinking about all these marketing things. I come to this online space with all this human understanding, the understanding of why people fall in love with your work, why your work can bring joy to another human's life, why people share you with their friends. And when you understand those things and you incorporate that with Facebook advertising and Facebook targeting and working with AI and algorithms, it's amazing. Your business just explodes.
What advice would you give to someone who is out there thinking, well, now my job, I don't know if it's going to come back, the 9-to-5 job, or what should I do? What advice would you tell them if they want to start moving to the online space world?
Well, I would tell you a couple of things. I would, number one, ask you to look at yourself and see, is there something, because we're all creative beings, all right? Everyone is creative. And look inward and see if there's something that you've always had a desire to create, and see if you can figure out something to create that you can monetize, that you can sell. Okay, so that would be number one. Number two, if you don't feel, oh, I don't have anything, I don't, I know, David, you say everyone's creative. I don't feel creative. Well, there are all kinds of things that you can get involved in online. You know, there are affiliate programs, there are products that you can sell. The bottom line is, when you decide what it is you're going to monetize, I don't care what it is. It could be an online course. You're going to teach people how to sing. It could be something you're going to purchase and then resell it. Doesn't matter what it is. I want you to remember this, that all you simply need to do are find the people in the world who love what it is that you've created. Okay, that's it. Those people are out there. That was my one single premise that brought me to the online space. I traveled doing the show circuit for 35 years. Every show I went to, I found thousands of people who loved what I created. I knew I could go anywhere in the world and I would find people who loved what I created and they would buy it. Okay, so same thing exists online. All you have to do is get in front of the right people. And I would tell you this, it is very simple to do when you learn how to focus on one narrow path. So that clarity again. Get very clear, get very focused. I love the Facebook platform for this purpose, and that's the platform that I use, and also obviously Instagram. And it's amazing what'll happen. And then when you put the right thing in front of the right people, they come into your world, they become a fan, they become a customer, they become a repeat customer. And if you do it right, and this is what I teach in my course and coaching program, is I teach you strategy. And when you execute the right kinds of strategies, you turn your fan base, these 100,000 fans that I have, into your best sales force. And they're actually out there selling for you. So it's a combination of a few things, but you're very focused on a narrow path and you're putting the right thing in front of the right people.
Let's put men aside. How do you know you are successful?
Success. Well, it comes from a couple of things. Like for me, I wanted to stop traveling so I could spend more time with my family and be home more. So for me, success is really about my time with my family, being home and not having to be away traveling 100 or 100 plus days a year. The monetary success that has come along with this change in my business is kind of the bonus. So the monetary success allows me to live a wonderful lifestyle, but being home is the most important thing to me, being with my family.
But David, as you said, everyone can create, everyone is talented. But can anyone be an entrepreneur, or are some more people cut out for it than others?
Well, I think anyone could be an entrepreneur. However, if you look at what you've been around your whole life, you know, how much have you been kind of tainted to not be an entrepreneur? There's so many systems set up in our world, whether it's the public education system or if it's, the media, there are things out there that will influence us to become kind of another cog in the wheel. And so if you think that you don't feel creative, you don't feel like an entrepreneur, to be honest with you, it really is just your training or lack of training. Anyone can be an entrepreneur. You just really need to kind of dig into that foundation. Dig into your soul, go deeper than surface level things that you've learned, and just know that you are a creative being. and that you have these abilities to think and be creative. Entrepreneurship is really, it's about being creative, and it's about wearing a bunch of hats, but that really is just creative. Okay, so I like to do this. Now I need to figure out how to do this. There's so many ways to learn anything you need to know is available on the internet. So if you need to know, all right, how do I do the bookkeeping part of my business? Or how do I, handle the taxes? All those things you can find on the internet. So being an entrepreneur, really anyone can do it.
What have you learned from business as a whole?
Well, I've learned that the sky is the limit nowadays. That's the most exciting thing about being an entrepreneur, is there is no ceiling. There absolutely is no ceiling. And with the internet, it's amazing what the lives you can reach, the people you can touch. My coaching business has become a really exciting part of my life now, because I'm able to watch other small business owners, other artists and craftsmen and specialty small business owners, watch them kind of transfer from what I used to do and what they used to do to this online success. So that's really, really exciting for me to see it happen for others. That's one of the things I love the most. And so, the sky is the limit. Anything, usually what happens when you come to something, I've learned this over the last couple of years, is I came to the internet hoping to accomplish one thing. I wanted to replace my show sales with online sales. And what happened was my online sales exploded, where I've doubled and tripled my show sales. Okay, so now my business is far greater than it ever was. And I've started a coaching business so that I can help other people do this. I've been coaching people for 3 years now. And so I have thousands of students who are having the same success. And so the point I want to make is, it's always bigger than you thought it was going to be. It's so exciting.
In your businesses, do you have a mentor or a coach?
Well, over the last 6 years, I've worked with lots of different mentors and coaches in order to learn the skills that I've learned. And what's interesting, what I've found on the internet is that there's lots of pieces to the equation. That's what I love about my course and coaching program, is I've taken all the pieces, I've weeded out the stuff that doesn't work, I've kept the pieces that do work, and I've incorporated that in my course. So I've worked with people. I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. I'm a big fan of Russell Brunson with ClickFunnels. I'm a big fan of Dean Graziosi and so many other, not only motivational, but business guys out there on the internet. And then, some names that maybe you wouldn't know that teach pieces and parts of the puzzle for digital marketing. So, and then just a bunch of random YouTube videos that'll show me a piece of the equation. Maybe I need to learn how to film a Facebook Live, the right way. And so absolutely, learning from others is critical. And what I wanted to do with my course is I wanted to give the artists like myself something where they could come to one place and get all the pieces already stitched together in a logical progression. That's why I call my course Step-by-Step Success. And because it literally takes you step by step right through exactly what I've been doing and what I do.
What is the most valuable thing your mentors or your coaches has told you?
I think the most valuable thing is persistence and consistency. Those two traits or attributes are so powerful in causing success to happen to almost anyone. If you think about this, if you take these two words and try and see if you can apply it to different successful people on the internet, you will find that there are so many people on the internet that are doing some pretty weird things, some things that you might say, you know what, I don't know how in the world they're making money at that. But look at, they've got 1 million subscribers on their YouTube channel, or they're on Patreon and they're making $100,000 a month playing video games. And what you'll find is there's two key ingredients to the success of almost everyone online, and it's persistence and consistency. Showing up and showing up and showing up and showing up And whenever you bump into a problem, you persist, you work your way through, you research, you find the answer, and you keep going, and you don't give up on your dream. And that's what my mentors taught me, and I've lived it. And I've watched so many other people live it that I know it's the key. I talk about it with my daughters all the time. Those two ingredients, even with a bad idea, even with a bad idea, somebody could come up to me with a really stupid idea for internet marketing, and I would say, you know what? I think it's a bad idea, but with persistence and consistency, you'll probably make $1 million.
Thank you. What is one thing no one knows about you?
One thing that no one knows about me. Oh my gosh, let me think. I love to drink kombucha out of a coffee mug. So it looks like I'm drinking coffee all day, but I'm really drinking kombucha.
Wow. What grounds you?
What grounds me? My family grounds me. I love being around my family. I love being around my daughters and my wife. And that's it. That absolutely keeps my head in the right space. And it reminds me why I do everything I do.
What is the most valuable thing you have ever given away?
My time. I give away a lot of my time. I've had several students who are in my course who I have gifted them enrollment. I work with an orphanage in India that we're actually working on making a documentary right now to bring donors into their business. And so giving away my time, that's the most valuable thing that I have. And it's scarce. You can't get any more of it. And when I give that away, it's a big move.
Tell my client about the magic moment, the day it suddenly all went right for you.
Well, that magical moment happened when I started to understand the power of the back-end tools on the Facebook and Instagram platforms. When I recognized that I could target people in such a way that, like I said earlier about going to shows, I would spend all this time and money and effort to go to an event, to be in front of hundreds of thousands of people, only to sell 2% of the crowd. When I realized that I could market in such a way that I was in front of the 2%, that just absolutely changed my world. And when I realized that there was a very simple way to put my work in front of the right people, and I could do this on a consistent basis, and that my online business was going to be profitable, that changed everything. I knew I no longer had to travel to all these shows. I could start eliminating shows, and it happened pretty fast. Within a couple of months of online marketing, I was able to drop 5 or 6 shows. And then the following year, when I started booking shows, I thought, my wife and I sat down and we talked about the shows we were going to book. It's like, holy cow, I used to hate going to that show. I don't have to do it anymore. Oh my gosh, I hated this show. It always rained or I'd get stuck in the snow. I don't have to do that one anymore. And so it was just life altering to be able to eliminate these events and know that the income was still flowing in through our internet marketing.
Let's talk about your business. Tell us more about it.
Well, Artist Marketing Formula is a lifetime access course and coaching program. Okay, so it's an online course curriculum. Everything is a video, screen flow, lessons. There are 5 modules, several lessons in each module. And what I do in the course is I walk an artist, a specialty small business owner, through all the logical steps to achieve online success. I show them everything. And I teach the way I like to learn, which is number 1, don't assume I know anything. So tell me what that button means. Tell me what those words mean. And then number 2, I like to know why I'm doing something. Tell me how this fits in the big picture. So don't make me just blindly follow you. And so that's the way I teach. The course is laid out so that you learn the things to do, and more importantly, all the things you don't have to do. There's so many things I push off the table. Don't worry about this and don't worry about that. And so the course is laid out. You can access it 24/7, 365 from any device. And then I have monthly coaching calls. So every month I do 1 or 2 live coaching calls. And those coaching calls I teach a start to finish executable strategy that will move the needle in your business at once. So I do those every month live. Then I take questions. I answer questions. Those coaching calls go for 2.5 hours. And I have students from all around the world. I have a lot of students from the UK and Ireland and Brazil and Thailand, Australia. So the painters and photographers and potters and jewelers. The cool thing about the course, I load it with a bunch of bonuses. When I built the course, and the course, actually I shouldn't say when I built it, it's ongoing. I'm constantly updating it. It's a living course is what I call it. So I update it on a regular basis. But when I was putting the course together, I kept asking myself this question. What else do you do, David? What else do you do? So you're teaching this strategy, but what did you need to know in order to execute this strategy? Are you using video editing software? Are you adding text to images? And if you're adding text to images, what app do you use? So every time I was teaching something, I would ask, what else do you use? What else do you use? What else do you use? And so in this course is literally everything that a small business owner needs to know in order to have online success. So when I was out on the internet working with these mentors and these mentors and learning bits and pieces of knowledge, instead of taking hours and hours and hours of what I've learned, I take just the pieces that matter and incorporate those in my course. And so it allows you to avoid all the trial and error. It allows you to pretty much skip the line, jump to the front of the class, and succeed right on day one. You just start going through the modules, watching these video lessons. I teach my students to execute as or implement as you go along, because you don't need to go through the whole course. You just start implementing my strategies. I have some strategies. Some of my students will just use one strategy and their business blows up. And so I have lots of little strategies that will bring the right people into your world and turn them into customers, turn them into a sales force. So that's what my course and coaching program is all about. You have access to me. I give you my email address. I give you my cell phone number. I have Zoom calls with my students all the time. I love working with small business owners and showing them how easy it is to have online success.
Wow. How long is the course if someone wants to go through it? And also, how long is your monthly course mentoring?
The course it probably would take you 40 to 50 hours to go through the course. There's that many videos in there. And that's why I make the course lifetime access. I want people to be able to go back over lessons. I want them to be able to refer to the material in the future. So the course is lifetime access. Then the monthly coaching calls are also lifetime access. All right. I don't limit any of my students. I want you to always be able to connect with me. Coaching calls go about 2 hours. Sometimes they go longer. What I do is I teach for an hour or so, and then I answer questions until there are no more questions.
Wow. Where can we find your program and how can we connect with you?
Well, I've got a couple of things going on. I teach a free masterclass every week. And the way to register for my free masterclass is to go to artistmarketingblueprint.com. So that's artistmarketingblueprint.com. And then if you want to learn more about my course and coaching program, you can go to artistmarketingformula.com. So Artist Marketing Formula will bring you to my course and coaching page. You'll learn all about what I have to offer there. And if you want to go to one of my next free masterclass sessions, go to artistmarketingblueprint.com and you can register there.
Thank you. So, clan, there will be more from David in a moment. If you are listening on one of the many podcasting platforms rather than my website and you are encouraged by David's journey, go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for a bonus portion of the interview. The Online Success Journey is a wonderful membership community built for people searching for the path to success. We are one big clan and can be part of this community for free. Once you have joined the clan, click on part 2 of David's journey or over 250 plus other journeys that are available and learn how you can find the right path for your own online success journey. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and David.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.